Guys watched the big concert in the middle of the football game? Yeah, that was fun, right? Yeah, which one? Yeah, which one, right? Yeah. Both at the same time. I wonder if somebody did that, like they watched the two different half times with like one left eye and right eye. You're gonna be cross-eyed for life after that. So last weekend, Seattle and New England opened for Bad Bunny, and it was a beautiful day for America, but maybe not a great day to be a patriot. And there is so much symbolism in that whole presentation because you have Bad Bunny, who's from Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States, if you didn't know. It's so crazy. There's like, after this whole debate and people just being furious about a Puerto Rican headlining the Super Bowl, people still do not know that Puerto Rico's in the United States. They don't understand because it's not a state. For Americans, that's unfamiliar territory. But it's not Puerto Rico's fault. Like, do they need better PR? But yeah, like, you know, it's just crazy that people don't know history and that Puerto Rico is part of the United States. So, like, why the fuck would they not be invited to be part of the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Like, the cold facts that nobody really wants to acknowledge is that you cannot accurately tell the story of America without starting with Columbus landing and genociding the Taino people. The Taino people who inhabited the Caribbean islands, one of which is now called Puerto Rico. Not to say that all genocides aren't bad, like they're all bad, but like that one was particularly bad because it was the first in a bunch. The majority of those people were wiped out. Of course, they still have some descendants who are, in fact, living in Puerto Rico. And, you know, after all that happens, is like, you couldn't just give them one fucking halftime show. People are like, no, that's too much. Maybe just a cameo. Like, come on, dude. It's crazy, man. And so when they announced it a few months ago, and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be all in Spanish, and people freaked the fuck out because they didn't know that half of America speaks that. And in fact, some of America only speaks that shit. And there was a time when most of America only spoke that shit. But yeah, people were upset. I thought it was like rage bait. I thought like, oh, they're just saying that to piss people off. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, that shit is all in Spanish, dude. That shit. I did not understand a fucking word. And I took Spanish 4, dude. I took AP Spanish and got a 3. Fucking passed that shit. But it wasn't being thrown at my face at like 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's just, that shit was más rápido. You know what I mean? That was very no lentamente. It was very fast Espanol. I talked to even, Spanish speakers from Mexico. They're like, yeah, bro, that was fast. I don't know how he did that shit. That shit was fast. But watching a whole program in Spanish at a rate that I could not process, actually let me just relax and enjoy the music, Because I realize how much I like music that I can't understand a word of it. Because, yes, so many great artists write so many great things that inspire us over the years, but, at some point, even your favorite artist is going to write a lyric that's going to be like, they could have done better. But if you don't understand them, you're just like, oh, this guy's the f***ing GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, I can't analyze the prose. I'm just like, he f***ing hit that note, dude. That's awesome, man. And so, yeah, so it was nice. It was nice watching it. I mean, it was an objectively good performance. As a performer, I was like, bro, I need moves like Bad Bunny, dude. He does like this little thing with his hips, and it's like, it just feels sexual. I can't describe it in any other word. He'll just move his hip like that, and you're like, sex. That's the only thing that comes. Like, if I learned one thing from the Bad Bunny performance, it's that I'm gay. That's what I learned. That's like the old... Or I don't know how you say it in Spanish. I'm gay. And then, of course, people complain, like, it was so sexual. Yeah, the way he moved his hips, so sexual. Like, I'm sorry that we're all gay. You know what I mean? Like, it was so sexual. The kids shouldn't see that. It's like, yeah, maybe the time Janet Jackson's tit fell out. How about that time? Or all the other performances where they're twerking. It's like, dude, you're just picking on him because you can't understand what he's saying, so you're looking at his body too much, And I did. And I did, dude. But it was good. Overall good performance. And it was very symbolic, too. It was very symbolic. And, like started in the fields, the cane fields. It showed the field workers. It showed the bodegas. It showed a lot of the mom and pop shops that exist in Latin. It was a cultural piece, and it was paying homage to Latin communities and indigenous communities who've largely been exploited and oppressed by our Western Empire for centuries at this point, And so it's like, it was nice that like finally on the main stage, the biggest stage in the world, like the most watched event in the whole entire world, that we were able to honor the oppressed indigenous people who've been just kind of brushed over like for hundreds of years. And so it was really, really cool to finally pay tribute to the people who suffer from colonization, and it was just really, really nice that the colonizers let us do that for a day. It was really, really cool, man. It was so cool. I bet they made a lot of money, man. That was it, man. Woo, man. Woo. I can only imagine what those corporations did on Sunday, man, while we were rejoicing in the indigenous tales, but it was symbolic, and you have to admit there's something cool about that. You have to admit that there's something cool about like finally that story gets to be told, and it was also just very symbolic going along with the game. It's like you have the New England Patriots that are owned by Israel, and you have the Seattle Seahawks that are only kind of owned by Israel, and I think that was really. Sorry guys, I did look it up, but. There's a difference, you know what I mean? Like their owner passed the helmet to Bibi Netanyahu. I'm pretty sure that was the losing pass for their game, but yeah. So it was symbolic because then you got the Seahawks and the symbolism. It has some indigenous symbolism to them. I can't name all of the sports teams that have indigenous symbolism, but the Seahawks I'd say are pretty high on the totem pole, and. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a fucking total blowout. Fucking total fucking blowout. Bad Bunny demolished Kid Rock, and... And listen, believe it or not, I'm actually not that political. I can't even say that with a straight face, but... obviously I have opinions, but I never set my brain to the default, this side good, this side bad. In fact, I really do think, the obsession with left versus right really distracts us from the more important things and the evil that people are doing on a higher fucking level, which we're beginning to realize is a big fucking problem. You know what I mean? And so, I don't want to endorse and keep convincing people to buy into this narrative that we have to be fighting over left versus right in some massive ongoing culture war. That said, Bad Bunny won that shit objectively. Yeah. By technicality, it was a win for the left, for sure. Even the Republicans who watched that shit, they left. It's funny, you had all these big Republican commentators and politicians, even the president, commenting on how much they hated the Bad Bunny performance, just showing they were not watching the Kid Rock performance. Here's the thing. I grew up when Kid Rock had his moments. I appreciated that, he had a couple lyrics in his songs, and, I'm an American badass. It kind of slaps, you know what I mean? Maybe not when you're 50-something, but I don't know. When you're 20s, that shit is fire, But he comes out wearing jorts, you know what I mean? Half jean, half short, not great legs. I mean, come on, dude. Work on your calves at least in the leading months coming up to this shit. So he comes out with the jorts, and he's not even performing the shit live. He's literally lip syncing along to his song, wah da da ba da bang da bang boogie. He even stopped for moments while he let the song play. And was in the background, he bong da da bong da bang. You're wow, he's not even trying to hide this shit. And then of course people saw that, and they're bro just fucking lip synced his whole thing. People called him hillbilly vanilli and shit like that. Not my joke. That's what they called him. And he fucking just straight lip synced that shit. And so everybody, rightfully so, called him out bro, that was lip syncing, dude. That was lip syncing. So many people said it that he had to take to Twitter And he got on Twitter, he's like, oh, haters gonna say I lip sync, but what they don't know is that I pre-recorded that show myself and then I sang along. Bro, that's the fucking definition of lip sync. What the fuck? Do you not know the definition of lip sync? He's like, I moved my mouth at the same time that I was saying it when I pre-recorded it, so clearly it was a live show, because my mouth was live moving. It wasn't emitting noise, but it was which is like, I don't even think that's English either. You know what I mean? Like and then of course he did like a slow song for Jesus and stuff, which is like, you know, hey, if you're a Christian, fuck yeah, dude, fucking vibes, you know what I mean? But like everybody else is like, okay, like it was like a slow dance song with Jesus. It was like too much, bro. It's like, just chill on that. Like, couldn't you have like one romantic song in there? He's like, this is for you, Jesus. Like, all right. Bong, da bong, da bang, da bang, book it. So yeah, that was weird. And then meanwhile, you got Bad Bunny. It's like, hey, you know, and just you're like, oh man, just like different vibe. And Bad Bunny had some cameos. Ricky Martin was there, dude. Fucking Ricky Martin, man. And I'm a little partial to this because not only did I, you know, was I around when La Vida Loca came out, you know what I mean? I was in high school. That shit was fucking wild, dude. But also, he liked one of my posts a couple weeks ago, so fuck yeah, dude. So, I'm living the Vida Broca, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, Ricky Martin came out. He fucking pounded that shit, dude. That was fire, dude. Lady Gaga came out. I mean, I have different feelings about her, but, you know, they had star power, I guess. It just showed that she couldn't dance. It was just like, I'm sure she dances better than me, but like, don't put her right next to Bad Bunny. Like, we're gonna see how not good at dancing she is. He did the whole thing in Spanish, and I was just like, I was waiting for that. I was like, is it gonna be English in this at all? He was just like, no, you know? Yeah, it was just like bar after bar after bar that I couldn't understand, you know? And Bad Bunny shouted out 24 countries in his performance. 24 countries. Yeah, so people in the United States learned there's more than one America. It was wild too because he kind of did it as a bait and switch, because like he's doing the song in Spanish, people are like watching it angry the whole time, like, when the fuck's he gonna speak English, right? And then he's like, God bless America, and they're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then he's like, Chile, like what? People like looking at the map of the United States, they're like, I don't think that's in here, as it is a bit chilly in Michigan, but he's like, Chile, Argentina, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Haiti, Jamaica, United States, and Canada. Like, what the fuck? Wait, what? You just said Canada? Is that Spanish for Canada, bro? Like, you could not watch that and like not objectively laugh. That was like hilarious. That was literally the last word of his performance. He's like, Canada! Like, you know they made him say that. Like, he's like, I'm gonna shout out all the American countries. They're like, yeah, don't forget Canada at the end. He's like, oh man, really? So he's like, fine. And Canada too, yeah. Goes to show in America, Canada makes a great punchline, you know what I mean? That was like the first English word of the whole show too, you know, because even when he said United States, he like Spanishized it. He's like, United States! And he's like, but Canada! So like the first word that a lot of people understood. They're like, oh yeah, I get that, and I don't like it, you know? Canada! Bong da bong da bang da bang ba da da ba 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 ba. I watch the Super Bowl just for the culture, you know. I don't send my money to them, you know what I mean? Well, you know, I mean, it's a whole, you know, corporate thing, and you know, I mean, it's all going to feed this larger, broader system that is, you know, really ultimately holding us regular folk down out here in Bremerton, you know, and but it is cool to like objectively just watch it and be like, this is where we are as a people right now, you know what I mean? And it's just fucking crazy that that we are collectively Bad Bunny. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, and it's not even the year of the rabbit. Thank you. They call me Bad Funny. Canada. Free Palestine. Free Palestine, man. Free Palestine. The whole list. Free Palestine, free the United States, and free Canada. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you.
We'll let me out. I have a family that supports military.
Did she deserve to get shot?
Put your brother in that situation.
You're going down a dangerous path. All this law enforcement brutality has really hit close to home because we lost my uncle a few years ago. Not to law enforcement, he had hypothermia, but he was climbing up Everest. But I'm just saying, he was also murdered by ICE. Sorry, that was dark. It's a comedy show. Let's just tell jokes, okay? So why did the chicken cross the road? Because ICE was in his neighborhood, the other side of the road was blocked. He had to go that way. Okay, maybe that's not good. That's too polarizing. Let's just get back to humor, okay? Knock knock. ICE. I said I saw the video. That shit looks like murder to me, man. I'm pretty sure it's murder when you kill someone, man. I'll tell you what, man, as a comedian, you can always count on me personally. You know, if you ever see a topic that's like so dark, and you're like, oh man, I hope no comedian touches that. I'll be your guy to break that. Because you gotta go in, man. And I understand people enough to the point where I know where it's like, everybody needs to digest the painful shit that we see. Sometimes humor is the best way. Sometimes it's not the time for people. I had to learn this the hard way too many times. But I've typically learned, because we have so much tragic shit that happens every fucking day. Like, can you believe this is what I'm talking about right now? It just like a week ago, like I haven't even said one thing about Venezuela. It's like, that's how fucking fast we're moving in the tragedy sphere. You know what I mean? I'm talking about this ICE shit right now, but my mind's already on Iran. I don't know what the fuck to do. And I use satire and I try to be tactful. I try to not mock the dead. I try to not punch down, you know, if you will, to a degree that feels, you know, just like not funny. But at the same time, like if I use satire, like the day that something happens or even the day after something happens, people get very sensitive. Like, this is not the time for jokes. I've got it handed to me so many times. But then you wait like one more day and you post something, they're like, ha, this is so fucking funny. Oh my God. It's like you just needed to sleep one night. Okay. You literally just needed one night of sleep for humor to work. Got it. This thing that happened last week, I mean, it did open a lot of people's eyes, just because you should know ICE has killed a handful of people. It was like the 9th ICE shooting since September, and it's not just immigrants. It's not just undocumented immigrants. It's now citizens. So it is important to know what ICE is and know your rights when you're around ICE. And you can look it up. It's in this thing called the Constitution. The killing of this woman was just so polarizing, as is everything in the United States. But it literally, like, a woman was killed, and people just like made it a political thing right away. It became like Blue Lives Matter versus Blue Hair Lives Matter, and oh, it's gonna get worse. But on Wednesday and Thursday, these video angles came out. Everybody saw it, reviewed it, and made up their mind. Because by the time Friday came around and they had a new video, and my thought was like, oh, they have this new angle. People are going to come a little more closer to consensus on what actually happened. Yeah. Everybody saw the video, said the exact same shit they were saying the day before. Yeah. Like, nobody fucking changed their mind. To me, that new video looked way worse. Yeah. Because first of all, it was recorded directly from the ICE officer. Now, they said it was a body cam, but it wasn't. It was just his iPhone. Like, that's how low budget ICE is, I guess, that they don't provide body cams. They're just like, you just pull out your phone if you see something. It was shot from his angle. The crazy thing about it, he shows... Yes, and he showed, like, you know, you see the full 360 of the car. Hey.
Get her out.
It's okay. We'll give.
Let me out. But I have a family that supports military that has died in the
Okay. Hey, everybody. This is your chance to take the high road. Okay. You have the option to leave. You do have the option to leave. Consider me ICE. I'm gonna let you know your rights. Okay. You have You have the option to leave. I'm not going to deport you, okay? You have the option. If you don't like the material, you have the option to leave. The thing is, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. I don't like to shy away from conflict. I think this is important that we're having this conversation.
I have 4 brothers who served our military.
And that's great. No, guys, no, relax. I will handle this. This is going to be really good content. Trevor, the camera's on. Listen. Fantastic, and thank them for their service. And that's awesome that you understand that people have to fulfill these jobs and you understand things from their perspective. But can you listen for a moment here? Because let's really break down. We want people protecting us, right? And we want people protecting us in good conscience, right? We want them 100%. And so a woman was murdered. She is a citizen. You may not agree with her politics. You may think that she made a mistake in being in that situation. That's fine. But did she deserve to get shot 3 times? Did she deserve in the face by an organization that is
But then put your brother in that situation. That's being run over.
Yes, and so fantastic. I'm gonna put I don't have a brother, but yes, of course, put your family member in that situation and ask what they would have done. I'm telling you how I saw things from my perspective. Like I said, you're welcome.
It's not like she was not knowing what she was doing.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm gonna give this 30 more seconds. Don't worry.
She left her
Okay, just if you want to say one more thing, because I'm gonna proceed with this bit, whether you agree with it or not. And you obviously you have the option to leave, and you can sit and watch. You can be angry. That's your choice, or you can leave. But what you can't do is keep interrupting for the people who paid to see my opinion, right? Because you have to understand, the first right that all of us Americans have is the First Amendment. The First Amendment is our freedom of speech, which comes with freedom of opinion and freedom of expression of that opinion. And the people that we hire to protect and serve us are the people who are protecting this sacred law called the First Amendment. Okay? So let's always keep that in mind. You have the right to the First Amendment, but not at the paid comedy show where people are coming to see me and coming to see me talk. You know what I'm saying? So your opinions are valid, your feelings are valid, but this is not the time for them. Okay? And if you think that I need to be stopped, well then you're violating my First Amendment right, and also kind of like they're $30. So you know what I mean? So that's all. 50. I'm sorry. I didn't. Sorry. Okay. So let's keep it at that. I want to walk you through why I believe what I saw is what I saw. Okay. And so to me, I already saw the first 2 angles. The first 2 angles show you that her wheels were turned away from the ICE officer. Okay, that was what the first angle showed. The angle from his POV, you can see as he's approaching the front of her car for the second time, because he didn't just put himself in front of her car, he put himself in front of the car 2 times. Okay? I don't know if you know this, they train officers not to stand in front of cars. You know what? They also train children to do that. They train children to not put themselves in front of cars. Do I have kids? Okay, of course. It's the interview portion of the show. What do you do, by the way, aside from yell?
Insurance.
You do insurance? You do insurance? Is that correct? You do insurance?
Said it twice, yes.
Oh. Well, I heard it once. Huh? Not your problem? Okay. You're going down a dangerous path. It's funny you do insurance. I thought you would understand risk. The second time he put himself in front of the car, we have the footage, we have the camera, you see the car reversing, and then you see it turning, it's turning away, but also moving slightly towards him. Let's acknowledge that. But look at her. Look at her as she's driving. Her face is turned away from the ICE officer. It appears that she doesn't even notice he's there. Because why would she? He walked around the car, then he disappeared, then he's suddenly back there again. Apparently she didn't know it. She didn't know he was there. That's what it looks like to me. Where was she looking? At the other ICE officer who was harassing her through the other window. Okay, to me it looks like she just didn't notice he was there. Careless driving? Sure. You know what I mean? Sure. But like, does somebody deserve to be shot 3 times for that? Especially, like, consider this is sub-zero Minneapolis, okay? Like, the ground and the neighborhood was covered with ice. Right? anything could have gone wrong in that situation. To me, it looks like the vehicle's going back, and then it comes at him when the vehicle's turning. It looks very scary for a minute, because it does look like, oh my God, is it going to hit? And you hear like that. You hear a noise, but then you listen to it again. The noise that you hear is not him getting hit by the car. It's him firing the gun. After he fires those shots and she drives off, he yells, "Fucking bitch." Yeah. Which I get it. We've all been angry before. We've all, called one of our friends a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? We've done it. We've been in a moment of rage. But like, have you done it after you killed someone? Even if you're like, oh, this poor officer was acting in self-defense. Like, did he have to yell "fucking bitch" after killing a civilian? Doesn't that not tell you everything you need to know about that person? Because I don't know about you personally, but like getting afraid of like the bumper of a Honda and then shooting someone 3 times, that's fucking bitch behavior. That's what that is. That's fucking bitch behavior. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. That's some fucking bitch shit. Okay? Now let's back this up a little bit more. Okay? The ICE officer who shot the woman, Jonathan Ross, has a Filipino immigrant wife. Okay? Are they married or is she being detained? I don't know. But here's something I found very interesting. Apparently his ex-wife left him for a woman. Okay? Which would make her a lesbian, for those of you who are a little slow. And so you put that into the context that these 2 women in this vehicle were lesbians, that adds another layer to the story. Okay? Because notice, he didn't know they were lesbians right away. He had to circle the car twice, you know what I mean? He didn't know they were lesbians right away, because it wasn't a Subaru. So he had to circle the car twice, okay? And yeah, after 2 circles, it kind of seemed, lesbian-ish, And I can say this because I'm Lebanese, okay? Yeah. Lesbians and Lebanese, we have a special connection, okay? We have a special nod when we see each other. Like, we have a similar sounding name, And we both love to eat, Yeah. Now, here's what you see when he circles the car. So the first time he circles the car, he has his encounter with Renee Good. Okay, Renee Good is looking at him and she says something like, "Honey, I ain't mad at you," right? Or, "Honey, I'm not mad at you." Now, let's note, it was a little sarcastic, okay? It was a little sarcastic, but it was sincere to the level of, "I'm not going to do anything to you." You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say it was just like purely genuine. It felt a little sarcastic, but fine. I just felt very innocent and like she wasn't going to do anything. Then he circles the car and he encounters Renee Good's wife, who was, let's be honest, not as nice, okay? She was a little standoffish, okay? And her first comment was like, "Yeah, you look at our plate. We don't change our plates every day like you guys do," okay? Which is just kind of funny because that's what ICE does. It's a little sketchy that they change their plates every day and just drive around. It's just like, it's a very makeshift, organization. So she says that, and then he keeps walking, and this is when Renee Good's wife, kind of nudges him on a little bit more. Renee Good's wife then says, "Why don't you go get yourself some lunch, big boy?" Which, the camera shakes, you can see the blood boiling in him, when that happens. She's like, "Go get some lunch, big boy." It's not too cutting of a burn, but if you're self-conscious about your weight, it could be a lot. Maybe he was like, "I just had lunch, I'm so a little bloated from lunch, what the fuck?" So yes, put yourself in his shoes. The blood might be boiling at this point. And this is something that somebody pointed out on TikTok. Thank God for TikTok, right? And you can watch the video to verify this. This is very interesting and a little scary. But when Renee Good's wife says that, "Why don't you go get yourself some lunch, big boy?" You see the camera kind of shake, and then you see him switch it to his different hand. He was originally holding it in his right, and you can see that from the reflection when he's walking around the Honda. You can see the reflection. He's holding the camera in his right hand, and then you see it when she says "big boy." You see, he moves the camera to his left hand. Now, why would he do that? Because he wanted to have his right hand open, because his gun was in his right holster. Yeah, his gun was on the right side. Okay, and this is obviously not a conspiracy, because literally within seconds he is in fact reaching for his gun. So the time between Renee Good's wife being like, "Go get some lunch, big boy," and him going to the gun was very quick. It was definitely weight self-conscious level quick, okay? And then you see him draw the gun because you see that from the other angle. Before he even reached the end of the corner of the car, before Rene Good even started to move forward, he already had the gun in his hand. He was already ready to shoot at that moment. And then he shot it 3 times. So is it not conceivable that his past may have contributed to this? Like just a little bit? Just a little bit? You know what I mean? You know, I when I think about human psychology, I think so. And let's be as sympathetic and empathetic with this guy in his mind and whatever he may or may not have ate for lunch that day. You know, but like, it seems a little too much of a coincidence. Just speaking from having previous relationships that didn't end well, like it can be a traumatizing experience. It can be very traumatizing if somebody leaves you for another person. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with people having their preferences and who they want to be with, but there is a special kind of hurt to when somebody doesn't like being with you so much, they leave you for another gender. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's another level that he's going to be, you know, it's going to affect him for the rest of his life. He's always going to look at women and be like, what can you do that I can't? You know what I mean? Like whenever he uses scissors, he's always just going to be like, this is not like, you know? And so, yeah, it can be very traumatizing. And so that might explain why he had this a little extra animosity. Because as soon as Rene Good's wife said this, and let's face it, Rene Good's wife, she looks like a lesbian, okay? And she said that big boy, like the blood, he's just, I'm going to get my gun. And then he went in. Within a moment, the gun was in his hand. And, you know, at that point, I think he was looking for any excuse to shoot. That's literally what it felt like. The gun was already raised in his hand. He already wanted to shoot. He just needed one reason. And that's why the story is he was acting in self-defense, because everybody says the car was coming at him. Maybe he was just seeing things, okay? Because the wheels were turned. She was turned. It looks like she was turning away. But he assumed that she was coming at him because just like his ex-wife, he assumed they were straight. All right, sorry. Should have made a full 180 on that one. I love you, San Diego. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Best to you. I love you all so much.